Today, the topic of discussion is virtual teaching learning process, focusing on digital library, open source and content development. Library is the heart of any academic institution. This is very well known statement since long years ago. But in today's context also it's very true. Question may arises that how can it be true when we can't access the library physically and we can't get the access to the libraries even after the pandemic situation. For why I have chosen this topic today. Actually, the services of the library has been changed. The libraries and the librarians have to enhance their services and have to change their characteristics of giving the services in a variety of ways and in more effective way. How the students and the teachers and the any users of library now demanding the all documents at their place at any time easily and quickly. So we are getting requests from them very every now and then that they are demanding from us that please give us services to digital libraries. So the challenge we have to take. Then what is the digital library? First, I have collected some well-known definition of digital library. Digital Library Federation offered the following definition in 1998. Digital libraries are organizations that provide the resources, including the specialized staff, to select, structure, offer, intellectual access to, interpret, distribute, preserve the integrity of, and ensure the persistence over time of collections of digital works so that they are readily and economically available for use by a defined community or set of communities. Sun Microsystem defines a digital library as the electronic extension of functions users typically perform and the resources they access in a traditional library. Kristen Borgman defined in her presentation at the LIDA conference Libraries in the Digital Age in 2005 digital libraries as follows: systems that support searching, use, creation of content, institutions with people, digital collections and services, repositories of digital data and documents as a component of cyber infrastructure, e-research, e-science, e-social science, e-learning. So we can find that this concept is not new at all. It has been started from the beginning of 21st century. Now teachers are also struggling to provide their teaching or to teach the students in more effective way and to using their learning content. So for them also digital library can be proved very fruitful. Now what is actually digital library? Confusion arises from the fact that there are many things on the internet that people are calling digital libraries, which from a librarian's point of view are not. For example, for computer scientists and software developers, collections of computer algorithms or software programs are digital libraries. For database vendors or commercial document suppliers, their databases and electronic document delivery services are digital libraries. For large corporations, a digital library is a document management systems that control their business documents in electronic form. For a publisher, it may be an online version of a catalog. And for at least one very large software company, a digital library is a collection of whatever it can buy the rights to and then charge people for using. And now we'll examine different viewpoint. From an informal retrieval point of view, it is a large database. For people who work on hypertext technology, it is one particular application of hypertext methods. For those working in wide area information delivery, it is an application of the web. And for library science, it's another step in the continuing automation of libraries that began over years ago. In fact, a digital library is all of this. These different research approaches will all add to the development of digital libraries. In simple words, we may say that digital libraries are libraries with the same purposes, functions, and goals as traditional libraries. Those are collection development and management, subject analysis, index creation, provision of access, reference work, and preservation, but everything is in digital format and with remote access. That's important. Digital libraries will not be a single completely digital system that provides instant access to all information for all sectors of society from anywhere in the world. This is simply unrealistic. Rather, digital libraries are more specific to a specific field or specific community or specific institution. Thus, what are the characteristics of a digital library? Digital libraries are the digital face of traditional libraries that include both digital collections and traditional fixed media collections. So they encompass both electronic and paper materials. It's not true that digital libraries only have the digital document. It must have the traditional fixed media collections also. For preservation purpose also, it's required to keep the paper material or any other format the traditional documents. Digital libraries will also include digital materials that exist outside the physical and administrative bounds of any one digital library. This is the most important criteria of being a digital library. That without any wall, digital library should serve its users. Digital libraries will include all the processes and services that are the backbone and nervous system of libraries. However, such traditional processes, though forming the basis digital library work, will have to be revised and enhanced to accommodate the differences between new digital media and traditional fixed media. Digital libraries ideally provide a coherent view of all of the information contained within a library, no matter its form or format. Digital library should point to all the materials one library have. Either it has the digital documents or it has the pointer to the traditional documents, or it should have the database of or metadata of the traditional documents. Digital libraries will require both the skills of librarians as well as those of computer scientists to be viable. So it became a challenging work to those who are giving the services in the library field since long years ago. Now, what are the technical requirements to establish a digital library? At first, the latest series CPU, Xenon or i5, i7 processor. RAM should be 16 GB or depending on file size. If we want to keep more and big file size, then we have to enhance our RAM. Hard disk 500 GB to 1 TB, it's maybe sufficient. High-speed local networks and fast connections to the internet. 100 to 1000 Mbps, preferably through LAN. And one registered domain name should be for an institution or a person who wants to establish a digital library. An operating system, it may be established in Windows also, but preferably it should be Linux or Unix based operating system, and in Ubuntu, for example, CentOS, Fedora, Red Hat, etc. Relational databases that support a variety of digital formats such as PostgreSQL, and full text search engines to index and provide access to resources. It's very important. If the search engines will not be effective, then we can't get any, we can't retrieve our necessary documents at easy. A variety of servers such as web servers and FTP servers. Electronic document management functions that will aid in the overall management of digital resources. Well-designed software. Above all, open source software may be the best alternative for us. And now, what are the resources of a digital library? What may be the resources of a digital library? At first, bibliographic databases that point to both paper and digital materials, indexes and finding tools from which we can find our documents, required documents. Then collections of pointers to internet resources. It may be that we have some YouTube videos or learning content in YouTube or in any other digital media we have outside the digital library. Then we set a pointers in our library to those sources. We don't have to upload again those resources in our digital library, but we should establish a pointers to those resources, for example YouTube videos, etc., in our digital library. Then directories, primary materials in various digital formats such as audio, video, portable document, etc. This may be the images and photographs, numerical data sets, electronic journals, then maps, and many more. Then music or video of any performance. Thus, a number of variety of documents may be the part of digital library resources. Though these resources may reside on different systems and in different databases, they would appear as though they were one single system to the users of a particular community. Within a coordinated digital library scheme, some common standards will be needed to allow digital libraries to interoperate and share resources. Now, what is the methods of building DL? There are essentially three methods, the three primary methods or main methods of building digital collection. The number one is digitization, converting paper and other media in existing collection to digital form. Above all, we have to digitize all the content. At first, we have to, if we have traditional documents which may be needed by the users, after selecting, we have to digitize those. And we may digitize the class lectures in audio form or in video form, and that may be the part of our digital library later. Then acquisition of original digital works created by publishers and scholars. Nowadays, the electronic books, journals, datasets, those are easily available in from publishers and scholars. Those digital works we have to acquire, we have to procure for our digital library. Then access to external materials not held in-house by providing pointers to websites, other library collection or publisher servers. Those we don't have, those are not our part, internal part, but they research in other websites or other library collections or other open sources, digital libraries or publisher servers. We may point to that or those websites, those collections, those institutional repositories, and not to duplicate the same item again in our library. Now first I have to say one thing, that I have mentioned the term institutional repository. What it is? Institutional repository is mainly collect the scholarly publication of the institutions, faculties or scholars or researchers, and those are kept in digital format. Those are called institutional repositories. Those the copyright can be claimed by the institutions. Those materials are kept in digital format in their digital library. What may be the challenges? The first challenges is copyright issues. How can we know that with the paper material we can issue them and they easily, but in the digital material, if we issue the digital materials or if we allow all to use this, then they can be easily downloaded, and then we can't track that what uses are they are using with those resources. Then we maybe fall in copyright trap. So we have to keep the usage tracking, and before giving the permission to use, we must identify and authenticate the users. Then selections of materials to digitize. This is also a very typical issue, and what material should be digitized? And it's our challenge actually, because the users or our students, especially our students, want the documents after the pandemic situation. They want their textbooks also. Those books they are using most, those books to digitized, but that can be tracked again in copyright issues. So we have to select first which documents can be digitized, and it may be a special collection, it may be old rare documents or manuscript, but it may be any videos of any lectures, but it may not be any copyrighted material. We have to keep eyes on that. Then if we have any very rare documents that have copyright that we can't digitize, then we can take a photo of that, or keep the database or pointer to that document, and keep the photos or contents of that document in our library. Then in naming, indexing, metadata creation, that's also challenging. Metadata, what's metadata? We are librarian friends, our librarian friends well known, these are, they know very well that what's metadata. But for other friends, I would like to say that metadata is nothing but the data or information about the data or information. What is that data or information? What we have, what's the documents we have, the data about those documents or those data are called as metadata. If we don't index or metadata creation is not done perfectly, then digital library can't function properly, because we can't retrieve our required document. The naming, names are strings that uniquely identify digital objects and are part of any document's metadata. Perl, these are the examples of some uniform resources. Perl is the persistent uniform resource locator. OCLC those provide those. Then Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, they give the URN, Uniform Resource Name, and DOI, Document Object Identifier, are formed by Association of American Publishers and the American Corporation for National Research Initiative. These naming can be identified one digital object uniquely. This locator can't be duplicate. Then next challenge is preservation. How can it preserve? How can we preserve storage media? We know that storage media are changing continuously. Then we have to keep up-to-date format again and again. We have to keep the data or documents into, or we have to convert the documents from one format to another format, and keep the storage media and preserve the storage media. And access to content also. Then if we our document in PDF format, then if this format is has been obsolete, then what to do? So then before that we have to transfer the document in another format. This is very challenging task. Then now I would like to mention some open source digital library software, such as Greenstone Digital Library Software, GSDL, Fedora Project, ePrints, Omeka, Dspace. Now I am mentioning again open source. What's open source? Open sources are those, I know that most of us know very well, but I want to mention that open source are nothing but whose source code is available for customization or changing. Source code are free. Those are open source documents. Now before adopting any software for starting digital library, we have to check cost. First of all, cost. Is it less cost? It requires less cost, or then installation process is easy or not. Then robust. Is it durable or not? Open and close both or not? Then is it flexible in use? User friendly and multi-user enabled? Is it? Then is it supports do it support the multimedia digital object? Then is it platform independent and interoperable? All these we have to check first. Now I am trying to give some overview of Greenstone Digital Library Software. This is actually Greenstone is an open source multilingual software issued under the terms of the GNU General Public License for building and distributing digital library collections. It is produced by New Zealand Digital Library. Greenstone has been developed and distributed in cooperation with UNESCO and the Human Info NGO in Belgium. The software provides a way of organizing information and publishing it on the web in the form of a fully searchable, metadata-driven digital resource. It can also be run in a non-networked environment, that is standalone, operating from removable media such as USB flash drive and DVD. It's the special character of the software. Actually, in 2002, it has been started. Research has been started on Greenstone Digital Library Software. Then what's the prerequisite software needed to install GSDL? Operating system Windows or Linux, but Linux is preferable for any digital library software, because customization can be done. Apache web server is required, then Perl, then Java 2 runtime environment version 1.4.203, web browser, Netscape Navigator or Internet Explorer, and the software GSDL. Now installing Greenstone. It may be installed in Windows or Unix based operating system. If in Windows, it is available in for all version, just as 95 to 98 or NT 2000 etc. For all version the full version available. And Unix based operating system Linux or Sun Solar or Macintosh OS full version are available for those. Then I have mentioned earlier also Perl 5 is required for collection building. Web server, that is Apache server, is required for fast CGR. GCC for Unix compilation. Visual C++ for Windows compilation. GDBM GNU Database Manager included for Windows, that is pre-installed in Windows. mgcrypt included. Then some features. Access GSDL software can be accessible via any web browser. Server runs on Windows and Unix. Collection can be published on CD-ROM. Full text and fielded search can be done. Flexible browsing facilities are there. Metadata based, and those metadata are formed on the basis of Dublin core metadata. Collection specific, hierarchical phrase browsing supported, creates all access structured automatically. Then extensible plugins, that new document metadata formats, classifiers, new metadata browsers. For searching, these are required. Multilingual documents and interfaces. Chinese, Arabic, Maori, Russian, etc. plus European languages interfaces can be done. Multimedia, video, audio collections exist. Distributed Corba protocol allows remote access. Z39.50 server client for backwards compatibility. And Greenstone software, in Greenstone software, collections may be library, then collection, and then multi-gigabyte collections. There are 3 layers. At first, library is a set of separate collections, and collections are the set of separate documents. Hierarchical document model is followed here. Multimedia, that means picture, voice, music, video collections, all can be added. Multi-language documents, that is Unicode throughout. In any language we can search or you can make the interface. Multi-language interfaces. Web browser or CD-ROM. We can access it through web browser or in CD-ROM offline. Searching full text and fielded, ranked or boolean. Browsing hierarchical indexes created from metadata. Metadata, Dublin core plus collection specific extension. Importing, that I have mentioned earlier, plugins and classifiers for indexing. And I have touched a few description about Dublin core metadata. It's very technical matter. I am just touched it for overview. And its metadata in Dublin core metadata is what's the Dublin core? This is the protocol or format in which metadata can be written. In Dublin core metadata, the title, the tag of the title metadata is title, and it's a definition, a name given to the resource. What's the resource? The name of the resource is called title, and that's the tag of that is title. And creator is for creator. That means an entity primarily responsible for making the content of the resource. That's author or publisher or co-author or translator. Who is responsible for the content of the resource is known as creator, and tag is also creator. The subjects and keywords, for subjects and keywords, the tag is subject, the topic of the content of the resource. And an account of the content of the resource, that's description of the resource, is known as description. Then publisher, we all know about that. Then contributor, an entity responsible for making contributions to the content of the resource. Then date, a date associated with an event in the life cycle of the resource. Then resource type, the nature or genre of the content of the resource. What is the type of the resource? Is it in which form? Then format, the physical or digital manifestation of the resource. That's it, in which format the data is. First one is a type, that is video, audio, etc. And then textual, and then it is the type of the format of the document resources. And then resource identifier, an unambiguous reference to the resource within a given context. This is the object identifier or OID. Then source, a reference to a resource from which the present resource is derived. If it is there, then we have to mention. Then language, a language of the intellectual content of the resource. Relation, a reference to a related resource. Then coverage, the extent of scope of the content of the resource. And rights management, who have the rights, information about rights held in and over the resource. That is the tag rights. Then it's an example or screen of the searching and browsing that I have been mentioned, that searching can be done by any term and through index, and metadata based browsing are when we can browse through any subjects, through all the subjects and through titles A to Z, through organization or publishers, etc. These are some greenstone collections on CD-ROM. UN and NGOs, example UNESCO, Global Health Project, United Nations, University, World Health Organizations, then Medical and Health Library, Food and Nutrition Library, those can be found in CD-ROM format. Now I am trying to discuss about Dspace in brief. Dspace is the joint project released in 2002, first by MIT Libraries and Hewlett-Packard Labs. Since 2009, Dspace, a non-profit organization, gives support for Dspace. Programming language is Java, web service is Apache Tomcat, DBMS is PostgreSQL, and Apache Maven and Apache Ant are also used in Dspace. What are the plus points of Dspace? It is an open source software, the first plus point. Then anyone can customize the software according to his need. And that's I have told that can be further customized according to our requirements. Capabilities can be extended, can be searched and retrieved on the web. Create, search, retrieve and preserve digital object and metadata using a submission workflow module. I'll later discuss it. What is submission workflow module? Easy to use and maintain. Facilities of batch submission also there. Good community support. Then if we need any support, then there are good community support are there. We can get help from them. Then embargo. What's embargo? Embargo is the restriction to access. There needed sometimes it is needed to restrict the access to documents. That can be done through embargo. Then easy backup and restore. It can be taken can be backup and restore easily, very easily. More features: usage statistics generation can be done easily. RSS or really simple syndication, that feed can also be created. Then through this feed we can get the news of update of the Dspace library. And another feature is single sign-on user email, that through one email user can use. Then recommendation to a friend, one can recommend to his friend to use it. Then full text indexing can be done. Customization can be done for any language interface. Email settings for users, display of results, input forms, indexing, layout, metadata, embargo, etc. For every aspect, perhaps in every aspect, customization can be done. We can language interface we can change. You can change email settings for users, and how the results will be displayed, that can also be changed. And then input forms we may prepare according to our requirements. Then indexing, the layout, metadata, and embargo, everything can be customized according to our need. Now, from where to install? Here one idea is given here. Online documentation of Dspace can be found from this ID, DOI, https wiki.lyrasis.org, display DSDO C6X Dspace E plus C.X plus documentation. But installation process is very tough. From this site, there is it requires many steps to install the prerequisite softwares and then scripts, and but there is one many of us know about National Digital Library of India, which is controlled from the IIT Kharagpur. And from they have prepared a device, that is https ndl project.iitkgp.ac.in, sites, alt, themes, ndli, pdf, idr.iso, from where the installation can be done relatively easier. Actually, they prepare for everybody the script, file, etc. All prerequisite softwares and install scripts are included in the IDR folder. So we have to just open ISO file, then make an IDR folder in home folder, that means in our computer where the digital library will be located, and then extract the file idr.tar.gz to the home folder. One the other one is demo Dspace. In this DOI, you can get the demo Dspace, http demo.dspace.org. From there we can try, or we can learn how Dspace can work. How Dspace we can work in Dspace. We can work with Dspace. We can learn very easily from this site. Then prerequisite software what are needed to install Dspace. Those are Unix like OS, Linux, Microsoft Windows can be possible, but Linux is preferable, or Unix based is preferable. Then Java, JDK 7 or 8, OpenJDK preferable, or Oracle JDK. The ideas DOI is given there, address, https of openjdk.java.net install. Apache Maven 3.0.5 or above, Java build tool. Apache Ant 1.8 or later. Relational database PostgreSQL 9.4 with the PG crypto extension enabled, or Oracle. Servlet engine Apache Tomcat 7 or later, JT, Kach Resin or equivalent. Then Dspace source folder, it's also needed. Dspace software and Dspace source folder, those are separate. Dspace source folder also have to install her first. Now it's the user interfaces of Dspace. There are two kinds of user interface in Dspace. One is XML UI and JSP UI. And XML user interface and JSP user interface. Then to work in XML user interface is a little bit difficult. So JSP user interface is more used by everybody. There's JSP use, but XML user interface can be customized more easily. I have taken this from the Dspace demo repository. It is a picture of XML user interface. Then it's the JSP user interface. It's that in Dspace version 6.3 is currently running in demo version Dspace JSP UI. If we go to that site, we can go through the various steps through login, and login ID and passwords are also be given there. We can log in and we can make our experiments or make trials and can learn from there. In Dspace there are 3 layers. One is storage layer, business layer and application layer. Storage layer is responsible for the storage of physical media or digital media. Storage part is known as storage layer. And then business layer is management of content, users, software, metadata, etc. is related to business layer. And the application layer is communication related with the communication with the outer world. That is related to application layer. Outer world means communication through web. Then resource type of Dspace. What kind of resources we can keep in Dspace library? Almost every types of digital object Dspace can contain. The content include thesis, dissertation, ebook, journal articles, preprints, technical reports, images, maps, newspapers, clippings, audio, video, music, etc. And also can direct to outside resources. The internal model is the internal model of Dspace digital library. There are main or higher level of in the architecture model is a community. Under the community there may be sub-communities or may not be. We can create sub-community, or if we don't require that, we have a small library, we don't require any sub-community, then we can't don't have to create any sub-community. Then directly under community we can create collection. And if there are a sub-community, then under sub-community there will be collections, several collections. And under that collections, the items will be uploaded, items will be kept. Items, what are the items? Items have 3 parts. The first part is metadata. The second part is the main file or in digital format or bit stream, that is known as bit stream in Dspace. And then license, the third part. The license part is also very important. The first part, metadata, bit stream and license. These 3 parts include in items. Here is I have created some example of creating repository. The first community, let us take here the central library. Central library is the main community. Then under that central library, the sub-community are Department of Physics and Department of Chemistry. Under the Department of Physics, the collections are PDF or textual material or documents, and then e-journals, then videos, then audio clips, video clips, etc. Or those may be, others also may be. And there I have shown one another experiment videos in Department of Chemistry, etc. Then under the PDF item, what will be the item? PDF is the PDF of books or book. So then metadata will be, we have to first write the metadata, and then the books are in PDF format we have to upload, and then we have create the license document. That will be item. License. What's the license is very important part that is when we give during the submission of item we make the license. Dspace then hold the right to acquire, manage, preserve and distribute the items, but copyright belongs to the owner, not Dspace. During submission of item, licensing procedure has been done. The standards, what standards are maintained in Dspace? There are Dublin Core Metadata, OAI PMH 2.0, that is Open Archive Initiative Protocol for Metadata Harvesting, Unicode compatibility for why we can get multilingual interface we can get. Then user and authorization. There the users, users are called in Dspace e-people. Who uses Dspace is called e-people. They may be administrator or maybe users or maybe data reader, anything else. Then group includes a few e-people. And next, authorization. Then when administration have to create the email of the e-people, have to create. Then with some e-people we have to create some group, and then authorization. What is authorization? We have to give authorization to the groups. What group will do which work? Which group will do which work? Some group will read, some group will write, or some group may have the admin authority also. Those who we have authorized the groups, they can admin them, or they can read, write them, the documents or items. The authorized e-people can edit the record anytime. Any item can be withdrawn or permanently deleted. If withdrawn, the item will, they are withdrawn or permanently deleted. There are two aspects. It may be withdrawn or permanently deleted. If withdrawn, the item will not appear in search but remains in the collection and can be retrieved again to appear in search. If permanently deleted, cannot be retrieved again. This is a workflow steps when doing the data entry. First, it is known as unfinished submission. When we create the data entry operator, create a entry and then submit to the step 1, then if it is rejected, then it will go again to unfinished submission. It will be recognized as unfinished submission again. And if it is accepted, then it will go to the step 2. Then in step 2, we have to again edit the metadata, and then if it is accepted, it will go to step 3. If not accepted, it will again be rejected, and then again it will go to unfinished submission. That means will be recognized as unfinished submission. And from step 2, if it is accepted, then it will go to step 3, and after doing the editing the metadata again, if it is accepted, then it will be available in Dspace. It's a workflow steps of the entering or adding any item to the collection. Then customization. We can customize the title, the description comes on the top and sidebar. The logo can be customized, header and footer can be customized, email settings can be customized, input form can be customized, can be set in any language interface. License and metadata can also be changed according to need. Here is I have done few things to show you through the demo Dspace. This is the home page of demo Dspace. It is the community. I have created main community Siliguri B.Ed College. Then I have changed the description I have added the description. Welcome to the virtual library of Siliguri B.Ed College. You can see that at the below part there sub-communities are shown. Sub-communities within this community are Department of Science and Department of Social Science. Here are the Department of Science sub-community. You can see that admin tools are at the right hand side, and there are also edit, create, collection. We can create collection from this tab. If we click on this tab, create collection, then after that we fill up the all requisite, then another collection can be formed under this Department of Science. We can also edit this sub-community. Then under the Dspace, the main community, Siliguri B.Ed College, Department of Social Science is another sub-community, and under this sub-community I have created video lectures as a collection. This collection has created from that part of the Department of Social Science, and then I have included here one logo. You can see that though this logo is not related with the collection, just for showing, I have added a logo picture here. You can add any logo to this, and we can also add any description in the lower part. Then it's the format of the metadata creation of the describe the item. When we submit, we will enter the item metadata while submitting the item. First we have to write the authors fill up, and then if we there are more than one author, then we have to click in add more. Then one tab will be created, and then title, then other tools, other titles if they are, the date of issue, publisher, etc., etc. Batch import. What is batch import? We can submit the item one by one, or we can submit the item in batch. That's called batch import. From this interface, we can submit the batch import. We have to create the items metadata, etc., etc. beforehand, and then we have to we can select from this in zip format or in any other format. Then select the we can select the data file to upload, and then what the collection is about. We have to fill up this. There are several options here: PhD thesis, PG, postgraduate thesis, sample, the Dspace course, thesis, etc. that we have created. We have to fill up here. Then edit item. How can we edit the item? If we already submitted one item and that is accepted also, then how can it can be edited? We have to first we have to search the item from the browser. Then we have to note the identification number, unique identification number of the item. Then we have to come to this this tab, edit item, and we have to put the identifier in that necessary box, and then if we click on this, we can get we can edit them. Actually it is should be shown in practical way. Then administer e-people. How can we create the e-people? Adding e-people. From this administrator we can add e-people. Above all, for creating or for doing all this, we have to log in first as admin. Then from the administrator tabs we can go to e-people. There are several tabs under administrator. content, access, e-people, etc. So then we have to go e-people, and then we have to add the email of the people and edit or add. We have to, if we have to add new people, then add e-person. You have to click or select. We can select from the below tab. Then edit group. I have created a group. I have created two e-people, B Chatterjee and A Ghosh. Then I have created a new group. From create new group and then edit, select e-people from the, we have to select e-people from the list, drop down list, and then we have to update the group. Then authorization process. How to authorize? The e-people, after group creating the group, we click on authorization. Then choose a resource to manage policies for. We have to first choose the resource, collection or community or item, which one we have to edit. Then edit policy for, I have chosen here the collection. Then edit policy for this collection. Then there drop down list showing the all groups. Then you have to select which groups you want to give the responsibilities of group edit policy. Then which type of authorization you can want to give. It may be read, it may be write, it may be add, or it may be remove or admin, etc. I have to select from this drop down list. Then update. After authorization, policies for collection video lectures, this can be shown here. This can be shown here. I have added this group, new group, that they can add only. I have authorized them to add only. This I have been created, and I have customized the top bar. That is Shiliguri B.Ed College, library, Burman Singh Jodh. I have written here instead of the demo customized place. If to write or to customize, we have to know the HTML tag. We have to know about HTML tag because we have to write that description under the HTML tag. So if you need any support to write HTML tag, you can go to the following site: https://w3schools.com. Then I have also customized the sidebar. Sidebars also can be customized from the this can be from news, from administer, then news. From news there is top news and sidebar. If we select the sidebar and then we have to write the description in HTML, then these have been changed. Training teachers can use this repository of Shiliguri B.Ed College. You have to log in first, authority control, authors, publisher, submission process, etc. Now usage statistics can be seen very clear. Now I want to show some library. This at first National Digital Library of India they make it using Dspace. This is governed from the IIT Kharagpur. This is their search interface, CBSE examination preparation content. Then this is under the collection video lecture on Agra Gharana. This is one item. And then NDLI, or National Mission on Education through ICT, Department of Education, Government of India has taken this project. NDLI is an all digital library that stores information, metadata about different types of digital contents, including books, articles, videos, audios, theses, and other educational materials relevant for users from varying educational levels and capabilities. It provides a single window search facility so that learners can retrieve the right resources with the least effort in minimum time. It is available on all popular forms of access devices, including mobile apps also on Android and iOS platforms. It's very useful for everybody. Educational materials available for all subject areas like technology, social science, literature, law, medical, etc. Content of all languages available. User interface available in widely used Indian languages. Educational materials available from primary to postgraduate levels, from class 1 to materials are available. NDLI provides user group specific services such as examination preparatory for school and college students and job aspirants. Services for researchers and general learners are also provided. Also provide services for differently abled learners. It is designed to enable people to learn and prepare from best practices from all over the world and to facilitate researchers to perform interlinked exploration from multiple sources. NDLI will provide a single window search facility to act as a one-stop shop for all digital educational resources. Information can be personalized based on the education level, choice of language, difficulty level, media of content, and such other factors, while other digital libraries. It is developed, operated, and maintained from Indian Institute of, I have already said, the NDLI system is accessible to all users for general browsing and viewing full text content. You can download full text content also, except some. However, one needs to register with the user ID and password and log in using those credentials for accessing the full text contents of any item under national licensing. These are very useful for teachers and learners. Both can use this for their learning purpose or teaching purpose only by creating one ID. Now I want to open education resource define teaching, learning and research resources that reside in the public domain or have been released under an intellectual property license that permits their free use and repurposing by others. Open education resources include full courses, course materials, modules, textbooks, streaming videos, tests, software, and any other tools, materials, or techniques used to support access to knowledge. Nearly every week, if not every day, there are more and more open source and open educational resources available and accessible to us. If we can use these resources, this will help us a lot. First, there is the e-GAN course. This is also developed using the Dspace, and few customization has been done in it. We can see that the same look as demos. e-GAN course is the digital repository of IGNU. Then e-Pathshala is the government National Council of Education Research and Training, NCERT, hold this e-Pathshala digital repository. Then what's the features of e-Pathshala? The portal and mobile apps are storehouse of audios, videos, EPUBs, flipbooks, etc. Resources can be accessed through laptop, desktop, tablets, and smartphones. Resources are available in multiple languages. The app is very small in size, less than 7 MB, and require less memory. And total e-textbooks found here 504 and e-resources 3886. This is Swayam Prabha. This is government project. Here live classes as well as archive videos can be found here. There are different channels for different level of education. There are level of higher education and school education also. Archive video, if we search the archive video, we can get huge resources there. We can use. One example is there for class 10 circles, mathematics, class 10 mathematics example. And there are videos clarifying the example. This is another integrated teacher training for integrated teacher training, NISTA. It's also government project. National Initiative for School Head to improve the school heads and teachers. Then SWAM, most of us may know the SWAM. It is for the courses, short duration courses you can do from SWAM, and teachers can also structure courses in this from this platform. Then http nroer.gov.in, e-library, different videos, documents, interactive videos, audios, images, several documents are there. Then University of Pittsburgh, there's open educational resources, big list of resources are there. They pointed out to the open educational resources, huge list. Then open education from Virginia Tech University Library. Then Eastern State University, video clip library for faculty and trainers. Everything is open. Alt Open Access Repository. This is Association for Learning Technology created the repository. This is a hierarchical structure of indexing. You can search with the Library of Congress subject divisions and by any subject. Then I have searched with some keyword, and this I have find. OpenStax is peer reviewed, openly licensed, and 100% free with many resources. This is the search result in OpenStax. This is a specific book. When we will click on that book from the search results, that book will be open like this, the hierarchical structure. If we click on any chapter, then full chapter will be downloaded. This is Open Textbook Library. This is the Academic Earth. Free online lectures and courses for psychology. I have searched with psychology, so psychology have come. Video electives, video lectures, from the collection video lectures, you can got this on psychology. Now on maths, this is from. This is Open Textbook collection. This is the on specific subject chemistry. Few more Indian OER list here is given. Number 1, aurobindoguptatoys.com, then www.nroer.in, that I've told in previous slide, the National Repository of Open Educational Resources, initiated by the Department of School Education and Literacy, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India, and the Central Institute of Educational Technology. National Council of Educational Research and Training. The repository belongs to all of us. Anyone can participate in, contribute, curate, and organize resources and activities, growing it to reach every teacher and every student in all languages. NROER Resource Library is organized in videos, audios, interactives, images, and document sections. Then eBasta. This has created framework to make school books accessible in digital form as ebooks to be read and used on tablets, on laptops. Publishers also can publish their resources on this portal. Then some well-known South Ganga, then South Gangotri, and then NCRT, textbook collection, GeoGebra.org, tube.geogebra.org. This is for mathematics learning teaching. Then ICTcurriculum.gov.in. This is for ICT, and this is very popular, Khan Academy, and this very nice website. You may log in there. You may, and there are 3 kinds of login option: learners, teachers, and parents. If I have login through parents login, then there is option to add my children there, and the children can learn from this site, and I can also observe what children are learning. This is very useful, very well organized. Then few more address here is given. Everybody of us will know the books, Google Books or Scholar, google.co.in. Important resources can be available there. Now I want to discuss about some only mention few teaching apps. One, Lucid app, where while teaching through Google Meet or Zoom or any other app, we can use this app for whiteboard, for using whiteboard. Here I have written, "Welcome students, how are you?" on the whiteboard, and point to remember, don't be afraid. These are written by me. Then Whiteboard Pro, these are also for whiteboard. The basic idea behind this app is to convert your phone to a notepad and use your fingers as a pen. Write notes in your own handwriting. Handwriting can be used in smartphone. Let children be creative for hours. Edit photos, write or mark. Photos, pictures can also be added to this whiteboard, and you can share this work also with our friends. This is my Viewboard, is also very good website. You can download, you can sign in, and you can create your own classroom here. You can interact with the studio through classroom, through live video, through clips, and you can upload your content, etc., etc. This is I have tried for experiment. I have written welcome while live session. I have written in whiteboard, "Welcome my friend." Your screen can be presented there. So, similar teaching apps, few more: Notebook, Blackboard, TeachMint, Indian teaching apps, www.spay.com. Your website can be created there, and you can add there your content and also interact with the students. There in Microsoft Team also, there options are given there for classroom, for files, for class notes, for uploading files, and Blackboard, etc., etc. Google Classroom is also very good. Website builders, some address of website builders: http://sites.google.com. It's free for everybody. You can create your own website and then give link to your YouTube video or any other digital document in these sites. And workspace.google.com, it's for businessmen also, actually. It's more facilities than sites. And few more: Wix, Weebly, WordPress.org, WordPress.com, Joomla, Site123, etc. Thanks for your patience. With the limited time, I tried to discuss the overall features of everything. It's I don't know how can I if I have been succeed or not. Thank you very much. Thank you all.